Hey. Sorry for the delay. Welcome. Let's get right into this. Let's not mess around. So the SPY pushed even higher today, cracking unbelievable boundaries that no one ever thought would be cracked. I think this is extremely interesting and right on the money with everything that we've been talking about on this stream. If you're new to this stream, welcome. You need to be following this every week because we have basically told you since October of 2022 that our target on the SPY was 500 should we reverse from that point, which we did. We took our options trade of the SPY 470 calls dated for March. We hit early. We made bank to the tune of I think it was nearly 300%. So huge money to be made from just simply dedicating 30 minutes every week, once a week, to know exactly what's happening in the market. We're going to go through our SPY day trades, both bull and bear trades. And we are going to outline exactly what those options trades would be for those of you that do like trading options, so that you are going into this week with a clear plan to make money. So looking at the SPY today, once again, pushed to a new high at about 503.90. So let's go to the hourly. Let's get a little more dialed in. Got all these levels outlined now. This is crazy. So today we did push to a new high and then we sold off. StocksBuddy on the hourly view is showing us that we hit a bear case right here, 502, heading downside after the bull case at 501 to 503. So we're going to turn that off just to clear up some of the muck, make this a little easier to see. So looking at this, very interesting. We want to see tomorrow at open. Honestly, I'm going to say bear case is probably what's going to pay tomorrow, in my opinion. I think that because we placed that new high and then we came down and broke this level right here, like 537, which I guess we have just above. The key level that we're going to watch is about 499. I think that's our pretty critical area where we need this to hold. We got a pretty decent basis support built over the trading day of February 9th. So I would say that that's going to be our first indication of price action in terms of trend, where we either see this open up and find support here, at which point then the calls are what's going to pay. That's a potential scenario. The second one would be violating this, hitting our head against resistance, and then coming down even further, more than likely to right about here, which is the indicated stop as per StocksBuddy, and topped out our range 494.29. That was our last very clearly defined range before we broke out right here. So we're going to trade off that range. Again, we just used the price data that we've seen to make educated decisions going forward. And that's exactly how we're going to trade this to make our opportunity of return maximum. So now that we have the bottom and the top, we know that we have our range, and that's going to be 499 and change to 494. So I think our most likely scenario tomorrow, we're going to start with our bear scenario, where we get a soft open and we come down below this line. This is our support, 499.50, right? And we break below. We're going to go to let's do the 30-minute chart. That's probably going to be our most accurate and most effective time frame to use. We're going to watch to see if we break below 499.50. That's your first alert you can set on your chart. You just can basically right click and add alert on horizontal line. So when the price breaks, you'll know exactly what's happening and what to do. So again, this is all on TradingView free, in combination with the StocksBuddy indicator. I could put the link in there at some point. If you aren't using it, you should be. This is the best tool I've ever used. So using TradingView, we could set up a lot of this stuff to be automated so that it's simple and easy to understand and very easy to use in practice. So price break opens up, and then we break down, and we break down below 499.50. We come back up and we test, right? Because when we break a key level, we don't ever just say, well, that's it, it's done. We wait for the retest. We wait for the confirmation, because that's how we know we have the right direction in our trade. So when the price comes below that point, we wait to see one of these 30-minute candles come back up and get rejected at that same line. When that occurs, upon this rejection, so after we get our rejection, right, we want to see our confirmation. After we get our rejection, we want to see our confirmation one more time. After we get our rejection, we want to see our confirmation. So price breaks below. We want to see our confirmation that we're going to continue bearish. Once we get that confirmation, if we get that confirmation, what we're going to be looking at is, let me pull this up here so we can look. Share this tab instead. Having a hell of a month here, ladies and gentlemen. We're up 22,985, but focus on the percentage. Need not focus on the amount. Focus on the percentage. Whatever your portfolio is, you should be seeing ideally 20% or so, 20% return on your positions here. So if you're following the trades that we're talking about. So we are on the SPY options chain now. As always, we want to be looking out 3 weeks or so. I do like March 1st, and that's a Monday rather than a Friday, so that means it gives us time. I like that. So if we're looking at March 1st on our expiration, let's go back to our chart here. We talked about 494.32 being our key support that we needed to keep our eye on. Alternatively, it could be 495 and change because that's where we really broke out from here, but we're going to hedge our bets and go to the most consistent area that we can look at. So we're going to switch this to puts, and this can be done by anyone. Again, this is the goal is to make this so simple. Robinhood is not the best platform, but it is extremely easy to use, hence why we're using it to show you this. So going back to the options chain here, we've switched this to put. We have our date of March 1st. We are now going to go to the 494 put for that date, add it to the watch list so we can track the pricing. Currently priced at about $228 a contract. For those of you that have level 2 options, which it's very easy to get, you really should just apply for it on Robinhood or any other platform. You would first go buy put and then select this one. Then you would go to sell put and select the one below. Bada bing, bada boom. You're taking the bearish trade for 25 cents rather than $228. So there's no excuse, no reason anyone with any size account can't take this trade and trade this direction, because if the trade plays out like this, this is going to make you some buco bucks here. So once again, our bearish case, we are watching for SPY to come down at open, cross below 499.50. Again, if you're on TradingView, very easy. Hit right click, then click add alert when price breaks below. Add alert on horizontal line, crossing horizontal line. We could do only once, whatever you want. Put your name alert, SPY puts, whatever you want it to be. Set it. Let's actually make this simple. This is how easy trading could be. You could automate all of this. So we'll put SPY 494 puts, 3/1 expiration, so that you know exactly what to do. Sorry, we're going to put that for the message. So it's now created. So if the SPY opens and does what we are telling it to, if it does what we have told the TradingView to look out for, it will send us an alert letting us know a reminder of the exact contract that we were looking at for the puts. So again, let me get rid of all this so I can draw it out one last time. And once you set it, you should see that little clock guy there to let you know it's there. We are looking for the SPY to open lower, below 499.50. Once we get that cross, we are paying close attention. We want to see the price attempt to come back up and get rejected at that level, at which point then the options contract we just discussed, which was the SPY 494 put for March 1st expiration. That was the specific put contract on the bearish trend that we were watching and that we talked about on the options chain. If you're just joining us, please just scroll back the video a few seconds and you'll see it. Once we get that confirmation against resistance and we know this thing's going to come down a little further, this is where we enter that. We enter that trade there. We then watch as this thing follows our trend. Guys, we are 16 for 16 weeks in a row. Both the bearish and the bullish trades have hit for 100% plus. Put that into perspective. You follow this stream, it's 30 minutes to an hour a week. You get 2 trades that are going to run 100% almost every time. That is our put play. We're going to trade that down to either right here, which would be about 495 and change. So that's like, that would be my target 1, right? And this would be my target 2. So once again, if we're trading that bearish play to the downside, that would be my target 1. This would be my target 2. Expecting to see at least 496 with as low as 494 and change. That's what we'll be expecting there. So that is our bearish trade. Okay. That's our bearish trade. Now let's look at our bullish one. Excuse me. Let's say SPY opens up kind of the same way, right? But it doesn't violate. It actually finds support. At which point, we're going to switch this over. This would be our bullish thesis, right? So this is our bullish thesis. We're going to look for support after touching this green line, 499.50s, right? So the stock opens up, comes down, pushes against support. Confirmation being we dip below a little bit, but we close above this line. That's our confirmation. Hey, we've got support. Now let's go to the options. Well, first, before we do that, let's look at what we would estimate our targets to be. Well, a clear and easy one would be about 501 and change. But I think realistically, if we get a bullish momentum tomorrow off support, we're going to push to 503. So now let's craft our options trade. Again, back to the SPY options chain. We're going to switch it over to calls, right? We are looking at the 503 call. So we want this to be in the money. So again, Delta is very strong here, betting to the upside. We would be looking at the same expiration, March 1st. We would be looking at the 503 call. It's $424, so nearly double the price. So maybe we go a little sooner. If we do 2 weeks, I think I could live with that. So that's about $100 off. Still the same delta. It's decent. So we'd be looking at now February 26th. So we at least get 2 weeks because, again, you want to have 2 weeks on these. You don't want them to go to zero if the trade doesn't pan out. So we'd be looking at the SPY 503 call. And that would be 226. So in our bullish example, we'd be looking at the SPY 503 call dated for 226 expiration. So, yep, that's it. So again, how we're trading this, very simple. Support test, upside, target 1, target 2. And honestly, if we break through the high at 503.58, let it run because it's probably going to go up another $3 or $4. SPY loves to move between $4 and $7 on the day. So if we see a $4 move and it's still running with volume, it's very likely we're going to see a full $7 move, meaning it's going to run from basically 500 to 507. So I want you guys to be focused on that. You can basically set your price alerts exactly as we discussed. There's our bottom range, there's our top range. Be prepared for both scenarios. It can go either way. I don't ever want you guys to say, well, I didn't see the trade. Nonsense. I showed you exactly the analysis to watch for. I showed you how to set the alert. No excuses, guys, that you can't make trades, profitable trades, both directions here. Giving you the secret sauce, the magic. So moving on, we're going to get into some of the charts you want to see. Feel free to drop your tickers for the smash or pass right here and right now. I want to make sure that we cover as much as we can in the time that we have. We hit our target on NVIDIA. For those of you that are watching here, we outlined this target. I'm so proud of this. We outlined this target months ago, that our top line target would be 737 to 739. Today it was hit. And if you look at that, we got a rejection right at the target that we set forth. Nailed it. I'm very proud of the analysis that we put into this. I think we couldn't have done better. Part of me wants to cry right now because I'm so proud. I've never this accurately identified a long-term price target on a stock this explosive. So I'm happy that some of the new methods that I've really worked hard on over the last 2 years have really worked out. And I'm glad that you guys also get to derive the benefit from them. Because at the end of the day, that's the goal, is high tide raises all ships, man. So here's what we want to be watching here. Now that we've got our top, we can identify our range, which I think is going to be 695 to about 740. That being said, NVIDIA opens weak and comes below the low of day. I'd say those 695 puts look incredibly attractive. I think we're going to need to see some consolidation here after some just really strong moves to the upside. But also keep in mind that the last couple times we saw any strong move like that and then a harsh rejection, there were times in which we found support and then consolidated a little and then took off. But nevertheless, I think I don't know, never had a more well executed trade than this one. I'm beyond proud, I guess. So I'm very excited. And to look at StocksBuddy here, let's look at focus on the hourly. We went bearish on that rejection. If we take a step further back, we're still bullish on the daily. From the StocksBuddy give you the alert of $500. So those trading options, you could have got a couple 100% return here on an options trade that you could have picked based on StocksBuddy's analysis. Phenomenal. Can't be beat. Oh, I meant to put that link. I'll put that in there. I got to find that link, so you got to give me a second for that. But for those of you that have a referral link, just always keep that on hand because you can get paid to push it. So if you don't have StocksBuddy yet, there's a link. Get it as soon as you can. This thing's a monster. Pays for itself in 5 minutes. Again. So NVIDIA still bullish, but we are starting to see some contraction here. So if you go to the weekly, this is where you really start to see that picture. If this doesn't close above 730, then we're probably going to see some downside. I mean, it's been nothing but up since January, end of January. So we've had like the ridiculous green month of the year. So I think really like paying attention and playing this one safe. The run was there. It was great. We capitalized on it. We made tons of money. It was really fun. Next up to add to the watch list, this one was alerted for you at $30 in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you need to get in there. First signal was given right that we did beat StocksBuddy on this one, so give us credit. We alerted this around $32. StocksBuddy give the alert at 34. StocksBuddy's stop loss is calculated at about $70. So keep that in mind. Again, if you're using the indicator, it's very easy to manage and map this out. But if we go to Shopify on the daily, we're seeing a lot of strength here. I love the consolidation that we're getting. This is one I'm long and strong on. We had a nice little cup and handle situation continuing to break out. We have a very, very, very interesting zone right here. If you look right around here where I'm highlighting on my screen, we moved very swiftly from about 90 to about 130 last time. We've done that a few times. As you can see right here, you can see right here. This is a range where this thing loves to break out and rip from about 90 to roughly 114. So that's what I'm going to be watching very closely on here. That gives us a new range to pay attention to that we've been waiting on for quite a while. That being the bottom and this being the top to a degree. Obviously, there's a number of other ways to look at it, but I think that this is probably one of the cleanest, most concise ones. So as you can see right here, we're currently staying within that range. So should we stay above 88, then we're probably going to go to 106, and Shopify is going to be a hell of a continuation trade. Again, this was alerted. The pick was given out at $30. So please don't chase these plays. We're banging these out week in, week out. Just join, and you'll get the next one as soon as it comes out. And then in a month, you'll be looking back and laughing at how you had that trade before anybody else. So please do not panic. Just jump in and get access so that you can have these trades with us. I see that Mike's already posted a few for Smash or Pass, so please dump that ticker right now. Just type one ticker per comment just so that we can easily follow them and I can put it up on the screen. I'll give you guys 2 seconds to dump those tickers in the chat right now. Beautiful. Drop them in the chat. I love it. I love it. I like some of these. I absolutely want to look at. So let's take a quick look at RIOT here. Very interesting breaking out on the Bitcoin news because Bitcoin is ripping. So before we get into some of these crypto related names, let's take a quick look at the coin that crushed them all, Bitcoinius. We're trading up to new relative highs that we have not seen since 2021. Very interesting. Now, where do we go from here with Bitcoin? Well, let's treat this the same way we treat everything else. We focus on finding simple and defined strategies so easy that a fifth grader could do it. And this range strategy is one that absolutely can. I walked my sixth grader through this on the weekend just to see, like, hey, how confusing is this? And he told me he actually understood. He said, and I quote, so basically what you're telling me is if it's sitting on the floor, you wait for it to go to ceiling. And if it's on the ceiling, then you wait for it to go to the floor. And I said, exactly, my boy. What he's saying is if the price is sitting right here, it's probably going to go up. If it's up here, then it's probably going to break out or come down. Either way, you got to trade. Either way, you can make money. And either way, your risk is 100% defined, which is the key here. So Bitcoin, very interesting, 37.5 to 47. For those of you that have been following my analysis, I made very clear mention that 47,000 was a pretty integral price point for this to break. If you look at about 48.5, that's really where it gets dicey. But I like looking at right there where we get a combination of both resistance and support. 47,000 was an integral price for me with Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin rips into a new era, because keep in mind, now that we've ripped through that era, we need to find out what our new range is. And I would like to say 53 and change is probably going to be that range. So that tells us that we've got some upside here, possibly another 7%, 8% run, which would be very exciting. So now that we know that, let's take a look at the names that are following Bitcoin in the stock world that might benefit from the appreciation in price. So RIOT, this was a very easy one. Clear and defined consolidation and clear and defined accumulation. When RIOT trades above $10, it goes up. When it trades below 10, it goes down. Very simple chart. So now when it trades above $10, the question is, well, Austin, how high does it go? Well, in the past, we've seen it trade as high as about 23, 24 bucks from this range. In recent sessions, we've really struggled to break 15, 16 bucks. So I would say now that we're past there, let's look at this $10 as our bottom line of the range, 15 as kind of our midpoint, and then let's focus in on like 21. Let's keep this equivalent here or proportional, right? So we basically, from this point in time for RIOT, we've got 5 to the upside, 5 to the downside. I would argue there's more resistance to the upside than there is support to the downside. Take that for what it's worth. Again, I'll say that one more time. There's more resistance to the upside than there is support to the downside. So I think there's going to be more of a struggle to see more upside than there will be a struggle to go down. So keep that in mind with RIOT. But I will say that if we stay, if we're north, of $15 with volume, I think that we are, in a strong move with 20 waiting for us on the upside. But remember, more resistance to the upside than there is support to the downside. So the struggle is going to be real to the upside. And you're seeing after and delayed and secondary, tertiary effects from crypto. If crypto tanks that day, this could stop moving in the market. So you're beholden to another master here. So keep that in mind. Royal cruise like a Caribbean. Now let's go to the monthly. This is one I know a lot of you have a long-term vested interest in. So very interesting. We're breaking new highs potentially. We've got our little bottom right there. And it looks like we've really struggled with this top right here. So we've got a pretty clear picture here. Now let's go zoom in a little more. It looks like RCL is really struggling to break above 130, but it has found pretty clear support at 100. And right now I would just pretty clear. Yes. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to give this one a pass just because I'm not liking the chart. I'm not liking the setup. It's bumping its head right here. Take Norwegian. I don't know, but I'm not liking the chart here. I don't see a ton of upside. Again, the focus of this stream is just whether or not we can go long and sit after we buy and hold. And I don't think that's offering that opportunity to us right now. Let's move on to Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Very interesting chart. This one is very well segmented. Moose, I like this. This is interesting. So Coke, you really got two directions, and we're sitting right at the pivot point, which is pretty interesting. That it's either going to come up $3-4 or it's going to trade down and then bounce, which is what it's always done. Downside being 54 and change. Let's take a look. So also at a midsection here, but I'd say that this one being a dividend player, this is an opportunity if you're willing to sit through it where you could see substantial dividends paid out on long positions above $55. So I would say I think this is a great dollar cost average point, but I don't think this is like a new position. This is going to pay for the farm type of position here. You got a key pivot point right here at about 58. So if you're just looking for the dividends, then you sit and hold and you buy every time it hits 55. If you are looking to see appreciation in price, I don't think that that's going to occur here because Coke doesn't move out of that channel. It's just going to slow and steady pay its dividend. And I would say that's more of a fundamental growth story to look into for those of you that follow these kind of stories. So let's take a quick look. Consolidated Edison, aka Erectile Dysfunction Incorporated. So, oh man, I'm a child at heart. So this one very similar to Coca-Cola. It's not moving all that much, but we do have a clear defined range here, which I think is really interesting. And you're sitting at the bottom of it with the potential $10 move to the upside. And I would say probably a $7 to $10 move to the downside looming, more than that, 14 to the downside. So I would say right here, this one's a bit dicey. Again, I don't know if this one pays dividends. I don't really even particularly know what this company does. I just know that looking at the chart, I would say you got your pivot point here. Watch this above 88. You might see 98, 100, just so much as you might see 74. It looks like it could really go either way. So I'm going to tell you right now. Oh, sorry. Yeah, as far as Coca-Cola goes, I'd say you sell premium more than anything else, especially because it's tightly defined in the range, and take your tiny little profits and go about your day. Or sell covered calls against the position while you collect the dividend. You also collect the options premium. Double your pleasure, double your fun. I think you can do that there. As far as ED goes, yeah, I don't know. If it pays dividend, maybe it's passed for me because I don't really see much range. If they pay a dividend, then it's worth looking into. That's not really my jam. But I just wanted to dive in on the chart, Mr. Cools. I'm assuming you're looking from the dividend perspective. I would say it's safe to just trade in that range for the most part if the dividend is the angle. So trust in thine judgment. JetBlue have done this one a million times. Looks like we nailed it. I talked about that move down to about $3, 60 cents. Looks like that happened in November. So crushed it, nailed it. Cool. Then it started trading back up. Haven't looked at it since then. Right now, this one's going to be a pass for me because it's trading at the top of the range on a chart that is headed only for downside. So right off the bat, I can tell you hard pass for me. It's going to be huge risk. So keep that in mind. That's too much risk for me to take. Should you be in this one already, I'd say that like what you have to look forward to very simply is if we break above here, we could head back to $8. But it would require pretty much reversal in trend for that to happen. As you can see, this thing has not stopped the downside since then. Let's see what StocksBuddy says here. Let's go to the monthly. Oh, StocksBuddy likes it. So if you have StocksBuddy, just trust in that judgment. It looks like the stop is about 440. The buy signal was given off this candle, $5.40. So upside here is could be substantial. But yeah, keep an eye on that. I'm not touching it personally, but StocksBuddy seems to like it. So trust in that guy. Let's keep it going. The stick man, how you living, baby? Let's take a look at that XLF. I know you'd be liking that. That financial fund. Woo! Looks like the banks are going to have a nice little fun time here. We're seeing some upside here. It looks like the beginning of upside on the monthly StocksBuddy. Loved it. Get to buy at 32. It's up about 20%. Another reason to have the indicator at your disposal. Wish I would have seen this. Let's go to the daily here. Ooh, really consolidating to the upside. This one is interesting. Let's find this range. So 35 to, let's go right in the middle. 35 to 39. So it's pressing up against that range. I would say that you could trade the breakout, but don't trade the range when it's already past that point. There's definitely a few bear trades to be taken at 40 on the downside to 35. I would say as far as longs go right now, this was going to be a pass for me. But look for that downside trade, baby. On that one, I think it's definitely screaming at you right there. PBI, Mr. Snowflake with a crock and a sock. Pitney Bows. Definitely sounds like some sort of television show, television series. Whoa. All right. We're going to go here. I don't know. I've seen this one a bunch before. I don't know what the hell they do. Oh, freight and logistics. Interesting. 4P still a little high. That's interesting to me. No. So again, does it pay dividend? Oh, it does pay dividend. So you might have upside appreciation plus dividend opportunity here. This might be interesting. So I'd say 384. That's your price to watch. Let's go to the monthly. StocksBuddy love it. StocksBuddy loves it. Buy given at 326. I said the bottom of range was 375 or so. StocksBuddy's putting the stop at 371, so we're pretty much dialed in there. Could be more upside. Seems that on the monthly here, there's always like 100% upside from that buy signal for the most part in the past. Let's look at this consolidate a little more. So this thing's got a lot more price resistance to the upside than anything else, but I would say that next target could be 570. This one's got it pretty clear. So like a 50 cent stop loss for a $1.60. So that's 3-1. So I would say PBI is going to get that smash, man. I'm going to give you that one, Zaddy. I like that one, actually, because the risk reward's there. And the basically the chart is a bell curve. So keep that in mind. That from the 90s, this thing boomed and then cratered into nothingness. So again, if you follow the trajectory of the company, keep in mind, play that safe. But from a chart technical perspective, I like that setup. I'd play that setup. It's not a bad idea. Tina, CCL. How you living, Tina? Tina. We're doing the other cruise lines now, huh? We're all talking cruise lines. Now, where's the tag man when you need him, Mr. Cruise Line? Let's look at the daily. Oh, downside. More downside. Let's get rid of StocksBuddy here. So it looks like we already had this one mapped out. The breakout was right there. Wish I would have traded that. I'm a dummy. I guess we were mapping this out, waiting for a support touch and then a breakout. We could have had a nice like 70% trade there, but I missed it. So I need to set more alerts myself. But I would say right now I'm going to give this one but I would say more than likely I'm going to give this one a pass. Looks like you're going to see some downside coming from that double top right there. I don't trust that setup. I don't like that setup. That M setup plays out all the time. That is a perfect N. Look at that. That is a perfect N. Telling you right now, no, don't trade me. No. Perfect N. Telling you no. Yeah, that double top, harsh rejection, came down even though it got a slightly higher high. I don't like that, and I don't see consumer travel I don't really see consumer travel booming in the next year, as like we've already talked consumer confidence and basically, luxury budgets are shrinking. So I don't see these companies really seeing much benefit through this year and next. This was a hell of a trade here. ARM, I guess we nailed this. Didn't even notice until it had run like 300%. I think, Mike, we said the breakout over 50 or something. I think that's what we were talking about back. A lot of these we talked about in November. Talked about this being pretty clear support, make or break at $50. And I just missed it, I guess. So, it happens. But as of right now, I'd say that this one for me is on the no-fly list, because it just has absolutely boomed. I mean, we could do a quick. See, you can't even really go into the extensions here because it's moved so much. I guess we could go a step further and take it off the highs here. But even then, we can't get a clear picture because we've already just boomed past any and all extensions that we could reasonably make to understand price. So I guess your last option is right there, which you can look at it this way to put it simply enough for you. We stay above 143. We could see 168, but it's clear that buyers didn't love it up here. Sellers did, so they pushed it down. So I would definitely stay away from this one. It could absolutely keep going, but risk is there. And just know that with ones like these that exploded, all of these middle market and big market guys are looking at NVIDIA guys, and they're saying, every retail trader is saying, well, look, NVIDIA, we'll look at NVIDIA. All these other companies are not NVIDIA. Keep that in mind. Number one. Number two, remember GameStop. Remember AMC. There are other companies that maybe looked very similar and would see that same run. But once it happens once, it doesn't happen again. Not in the same way. So keep that in mind and play it with that in mind before you take any kind of exponential risk in trading these, buck wild. Just because it happened once doesn't mean it's going to happen again. Applied materials. Oh, let's do a little extension there because this one hasn't maxed out its extension. Potentially 226 to the upside. Volume's thinning out a little. RSI staying strong, but again, this could see another, I would say realistically, so it's 166, another $15, $20 move and then get exhausted. So I would trade this one. This is one I'd say very carefully. And I like to think about this in the frame of risk reward here, guys. I mean, is the juice worth the squeeze? Yeah, there might still be more in the pipe, but based on the $20, $30 upside you might get, would your money be more beneficial elsewhere with less risk? And I think the answer is yes. For a lot of these ones that are breaking out to that degree that aren't like the Microsofts and the Apples that are going to just have that extended run based on their market prominence. So, vintage moto guy, that's a great question. Do you see potential bear play on RCL? Yeah, I would say absolutely. It got rejected harshly at 134. I think it's at its current rate. I think seeing 111 and then 100 is definitely on the table. As you can see, it loves to crater. Now that was 2020, but even before then, it moved through this same area. Look right here in a matter of, let's look at it in terms of weeks. So if you look at this in terms of weeks, 2 or 3 times, you've seen it in 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks move that $30 to downside. So this was a little bit longer. This was maybe 10 weeks, but $40 to downside. Maybe 10 weeks, $40 to downside. This was in 5 weeks, $40+ to downside. So if you look at the past moves, again, the past is an indication of future result, but gives you a pretty clear picture of what could happen. So if you hedge your bets and prepare for everything, then okay, bearish play at 134. We could see $30 to the downside, which means we could see this down to 104 or so. So don't trade the whole move. Trade to maybe 110, right? So you could still see another 7 to 10, almost 7 to 10% downside move from here. And it looks like that's exactly what we're setting up for on the weekly. This weekly candle is just barely holding up green. It looks like it's about to come down. So just telling you what I see, I think that it's very, very likely that we see that kind of potential. So last one, I'm going to take a look at FITB. Is this Fitbit or Fifth Third? Fifth Third? Oh, actually, this looks like it's about to hit a little boom ski. That setup's actually pretty quality. God, I hate Fifth Third Bank, though. Why do you have to find setups of banks I can't stand? I like this setup, though. Strong move, little consolidation, little flaggy flag there, getting ready. Letting daddy know I'm primed. I'm ready to go. Look at that sell-off in April. Crazy. RSI in the weekly's not that crazy. Let's look at the monthly. Ooh. Yep. Let's look at the buddy. So once again, StocksBuddy beat me to the punch, gave you the bull signal at $28. He'd already be in the position in green. Last time it gave the buy at 21. This thing ran to doubled your money. So I do think there's a potential for this thing to boom from above 33. It could definitely go, I'd say 42 would be my target. I hate saying this because I hate Fifth Third, but I'd say the smash may be in order to 42 plus. As much as I hate Fifth Third Bank, the setup's there. So take it for what it's worth. A lot of volatility, but setup's definitely there. So yeah, again, sorry for the delay. I love you guys. We're having an all hands meeting, handling some important business that will benefit you all. We just needed to get it knocked out rather than push it off another week. So I appreciate your patience and understanding. As always, I love you guys. I love that you're here making money on this stream. Share the link if you can. Let other people know. If you haven't tried the indicator, please try it. Try premium. Get in there with us. Trade with us. Let's make you that money, baby. Let's get you rich. It's my only goal. If you guys aren't making money, then we're not doing our job right. So if it's not happening, please just message me. My number one focus is making sure it happens for you. I'm happy to spend the time going through stuff to make sure we find something that works. Don't ever feel alone because you're never alone. We give a shit about how you do. That's what makes us different than everyone else. In that way, is I promise you that one thing we may not always have the 100% best trades of everyone of the whole world. We'll always have of the best 10%. That I can say confidently, but what I will say is that we will always give more. We will always give a shit more than anyone else. We'll care more than anyone else. We'll spend more time with you, and we will figure out a solution that works for you in your life. Because at the end of the day, this is about getting your time back. This is not about money. Money is a tool by which we earn more time back into our lives, for our kids, for our families, for the gym, for sitting around watching TV, whatever the hell it is you love to do. I want to help you get that time back. You start out with the most you'll ever have when you're born, and you only have less day by day. Money comes and goes. Time does not. So let's use money as a tool to get our time back, and let's do it together. I love y'all. Stay blessed now. Good night.